introduce the cast from season 4. So I'll start with myself. Aisha Felder. I've lost 55 pounds, and I'll be your host today.
So I am Jennifer Strickland, and I have lost, gosh, I didn't get my number together. Let's see. 40 pounds, 40.6.
Sarah, and I've lost 40 pounds as of today.
I'm Kristen, and as of this morning, I have lost 101.3 pounds since January 10th.
So I'm Janine. I am down 42.7 pounds.
Jerry, 232.8.
Kia Hamill, 193 pounds.
That's what I know. 202.9.
46.8.
225.4.
Good morning, 209.8.
143.8.
You guys, you have lost a total of 42.4 pounds this week. And in the last 2 weeks,
That's awesome.
125.4 pounds in 2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Holy crap. Go guys. That's awesome.
Thank you, Sarah. So I thought, as we're talking about the power of life and death is in the tongue, use each other to pick each other up, because we're in this journey together, y'all. We are in this journey together. And no one knew that these random strangers were going to really be, so supportive of one another and so loving and caring. So anyway, I am going to continue. And I would, at this point, I am going to bring up Jennifer Strickland.
Here's my question for you. You've been talking about habits, and we're talking about the power of the tongue tonight. And as things start getting rough and you are forming new habits, you're leaving behind old habits, what pep talk will you give yourself when things turn around, whenever things are getting hard? What are you going to do? You have to have a plan for this, because things are going to get hard. So we'll go through each of you, and we'll talk about these. So we're going to start with, is it Kia? Am I saying that right?
So specifically, I think I would just try to nail down, like, oh my goodness, I didn't eat pasta tonight. I ate zucchini noodles. I've never eaten zucchini noodles in my entire life. Like, that's amazing. The sheer number of vegetables that I'm eating. And so when things are getting hard, looking at those victories is the biggest thing. And I can say, I am strong. I am doing this. I am following the plan. I am eating according to my goals. I am making progress. I am setting goals and I am achieving them. Oh, I could just keep going. There's just so much that's changed already, and it's incredible. And so when the scale isn't moving, or when it goes up and it feels like it should have gone down, I need to think about how I'm walking differently already, like the feeling in my body is different already, even after 2 weeks. Those are the things that it will remind each other of, and we'll keep doing that.
So I think for me, it's always about being in competition with myself, and letting myself down. And I think when times get tough, I have to remind myself that what I'm doing is enough. And I don't mean what I'm doing is enough in the sense of a cop out or saying like, it's okay, I ate ice cream today because it's enough. I think it's more so just being okay with being okay. For me is always a challenge. I always want to win. I always want to be number one. One of my friends today won a competition. She called me. She said, "Oh, look, I'm in your club," because I literally always win everything. Like, give you a random drawing, I'm going to win it. And I was like, but I have this attitude that you're not playing to play, we're playing to win here. So I think that reminding yourself that every single day it's enough. I'm in this chef's group, and he said something to me about 2 weeks ago, because we're in the process of opening our first cafe. And he said, just remember this one thing. And I said, what is it? He said, I'll quit tomorrow. So when times get really, really hard, instead of being like, I'm done, I quit, I'll just tell yourself I'll quit tomorrow. And tomorrow comes, remind yourself to quit tomorrow, because when tomorrow comes, okay, I'm gonna quit the next day. So just never truly giving up. And I think also just remembering like why I'm doing this, and I'm doing this for myself.
When things get hard, something that I've now started to do is I speak up. Before I would bottle stuff in, hold it in. And now I love the Marco Polo group. I have people that I can hold myself accountable to. I've said things to myself and I haven't kept my promises. And that's something that I'm getting better at, to do what I say, no matter how I'm feeling. And to get vulnerable. When I'm struggling, I wouldn't share those things. And now I'm open. And also with my friends too, to put in a demand. When we're going out, I say, I'm not drinking and don't ask me. Like, I'm not going to drink, and just being confident in my word. When we have get-togethers, something that I had never done in the past, but now that I feel empowered, I feel bold. I'm like, I'm like, so what are you putting in there? What are the ingredients? And then I see if I can partake on it or not. And before I would, because this is not the first time that I had been through a weight loss. Like, I've done certain things that haven't worked, like that whole yo-yo dieting thing has been real for me. And I've done it on my own. And this is the first time that I have a group. And that's been super helpful, and always remembering to eat according to my goals.
So what I would say is that I would continue to encourage myself, because there are times when things get tough that we do take over. But the biggest thing I would remind myself of is the promise that I made to myself when I was very sick last year. And I promised, as I was getting some strong diagnosis, that I was going to get myself healthy, and I was going to continue on my weight loss journey, and I was going to hit my goal. So that would be what I keep reminding myself of. Those are things that I did make. I made those promises to myself, and this is what continues to drive me, and really just to keep my eye on my goal and to know that this is what I have to do.
Hey, what pep talk am I going to give myself when things get hard? I'm going to remember my why, and things are hard. I'm sticking to the plan, and the scale's just not moving. I can look to all the good things that have been happening. I feel stronger, I look different, those kind of things are going, but the scale's not moving. So things are hard now. So I'm just remembering why I signed up. I was flat on my back for 3 months, and I'm definitely not there anymore. So I am on my way. This is the journey, and I'm just staying open. I'm following the plan. I'm keeping the faith. This is a proven strategy. You just have to keep doing it. And the Lord has always been teaching me patience in any way he possibly can. And clearly this is just another one of those lessons in patience. So keep the faith. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm checking off all my boxes. So I'm just going to keep on keeping on and keep the faith that it is going to happen. And I'm not having any trouble with peer pressure. I'm shutting them right down immediately. It's just, this is what I signed up for. This is what I committed to. And if you're not good with it, I'll see you later.
I'm going to remind myself that I'm on a journey and journeys take time. I will ask myself if what I'm currently doing, what I'm currently eating, or my workout plan is going to take me closer to my goal or further away. I'll check in with my BT5 crew and get some reassurances or some accountability from them. My sister, mom, my aunt, you know, all of my family and friends, that my husband, you know, my support system. And I want to learn to ignore current pleasures for the bigger rewards to come. I'm going to look at my vision board and get inspiration needed there to continue and kind of remind myself, like Corey said, my why. I've decided what kind of life I want, and I'm going to start saying no to anything that isn't that. That's where the bottom line is. I know where I want to go, and I'm tired of giving up in the middle of it. I want to see it through. So that's what I'm going to do.
When things get tough, as they undoubtedly will and have, and Aisha and I talked a lot about this. What am I going to do when I lose 25 pounds and I'm feeling good, but I'm not quite at my goal, right? And that's the time where you will fall off and you'll get back into those old habits. So for me, it's a couple of things. I think it's one, really refocusing on the end in mind, right? Back to why did I start this? And to Aisha's point, to Heather's point, not wanting to do this again. This isn't a diet. It's not a fad diet. It's not a get skinny quick scheme, right? It is a lifestyle change. We've all commented on the fact that we're eating more than we probably ever have. We're eating healthier options. We're more fulfilled than we ever have been. Our cravings are gone. So I don't think the food is the issue, right? I think it's just getting past that. What am I missing? And so I think it's refocusing, not what am I missing, but what am I gaining? And I'm gaining health, I'm gaining confidence, I'm adding years to my life. And I think the next thing that is equally important when we're having those tough times is leaning into this village and this community that we've created with all of the people around us who have been set up to help us succeed. So I think it's just, to summarize, reminding myself of that end goal and then leaning into the village that's around me.
This is a deep topic for me. I was taught to make jokes about being fat. I was taught by example. I've always wanted to be the funny person in the room. I've always wanted to give that little bit of shock factor and then the laughter. And I'm just, with the I am statements, the power of life and death is in the tongue. I've learned that it has to be a positive statement. Just saying, I don't want to be fat anymore isn't enough, because for one thing, it's a negative statement. And for another thing, that verb want doesn't hold any power. So I've been sitting here thinking about this. How am I going to do this? How am I going to turn this around? So taking the negative out of it, taking the no's and the nots and the no longers out. Here's what I think is going to be helpful for me at this stage. I used to think fat was funny, but now I'm learning that healthy is happy. Happy is so much better than funny. And then also a little bit of what everyone else has said, but yeah, I used to think fat was funny, but I'm learning that healthy is happy, and happy lasts longer than funny. Kia really hit the nail on the head with the hammer when she said, we've only been doing this for 14 days and we already feel different. I mean, when I started 2.5 weeks ago, this is so embarrassing. I hurt my knee almost 2 years ago. My 20-year-old daughter would help me get up off the couch to go to bed after she got home from work. And the other day when she got home from work, she said, "Do you want help getting up off the couch?" And I said, "No, watch this." And I almost just jumped off the couch at 2 o'clock in the morning after a long day. That's huge. It's huge.
Woohoo! Yeah.
That's awesome, Heather. I love it.
That is.
And,
That is wonderful.
but those are the little wins. Like if the scale didn't move how you thought it would move, guess what moved? You moved off the
my butt, my whole body
by yourself. So those are the things that keep you going when this road gets tough, guys. Those are the things that you hang on to when you don't know, if you're going to resort back to those old ways, because those, that fat girl, it's a fight. I tell you, I have a fat girl and her name is Trudy. And she is relentless. She's like, let's go. Let's just forget it and get a hot dog. Forget about it. You gotta fight back. You gotta fight back. And so I'm just so encouraged by that. I'm so encouraged.
Healthy is happy. That is, I'm just going to adopt your motto because that is so true. And really why my wife, April, who's on here, who inspired me to come and do this, obviously knowing Carmen as well as we do, but really stepping into things and being in personal development and developing everybody else and everything in area of our life. And April and I had one area that was not focused on because I wasn't paying attention. Right? I was paying attention to everything else, but I was not paying attention to my health. And last year when it caught me, it was a dear price to pay. So I will do the things that I don't want to do so I can do the things I want to do. And this is actually becoming enjoyable to me in this process. Obviously, liking to step into challenges and just challenging myself physically, not knowing what this would do. And if your body's going to respond or not. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. And that is, no matter if you're losing weight or whatever it is, it's just getting up in the morning and putting yourself through the process of that day. And it's literally a mindset change, and it's a discipline that I've had in my life and then got away from it. And just getting back to that place where healthy and happy go in unison together, and really a balanced lifestyle for me. But not paying attention was my biggest thing, right? And rewarding myself and the people around me. Right? People would like to hang around me because I would reward them with trips to Starbucks, as you guys, I've already confessed to you guys. $1,500 a month habits, right? So I was generous to myself and to other people just for little things, and learning that that's not a reward at all. In fact, that's little tablets of death that I would be taking, or drinks of death, and really looking at myself and the process that I've gone through to say, that's not what I'm going to be doing.
So things have been hard this week because I didn't see the scale move like I would have liked to, but Ken has been commenting on my skin, and he's been commenting on I have abs. He's been making lots of little comments here and there. So those things are what I keep my focus on, that I want to be healthy. I want to be strong, and I am strong, and I am healthy. And I know that I need to really be honest when I do have, like, when the scale is not moving, and looking at that and see, going back and with that accountability, as everybody's mentioned, and just really being honest about maybe what I need to do differently, maybe things that I need to look at to get the results that I want. But I do know that things are fitting better, and I'm seeing those kind of results. So I focus a lot on those things. And just like Ken has said, like, it's so important that I'm healthy, because like we went through that, just as he said, we both were very sick last year, and I just want to be healthy and I want to be strong. And so I want to be in my old age where I am like one of those, grannies that's dancing and all of those things, where I'm just completely, people are like, wow, look at her, and I want to inspire people. So just that's what keeps me going.
April, I want you to think about what you're going to say to yourself to get yourself back up. You talked a lot about I am strong, but I mean, you have to get in that mirror and talk to yourself and get yourself back up, because one thing you guys have been saying is that the scale hasn't been going down. I looked at everybody's weight last week. Everybody lost last week. So don't say that. Do not, that's word is seed. You guys are saying the scale did not go down. It went down. Now, it may not have gone down as much as you thought it would go down, but the fact that it went down is a win, y'all. Is a win, and don't feel defeated. Yeah, it's a competition, but you're really competing against yourself. Because if you go into this week thinking, oh, the scale didn't go, like it's gonna build. And so once again, grab yourself back and say, hey, I did everything that I could have done this week. And I feel good about the fact that I lost weight. I didn't gain. Did you gain? Right.
Thinking about what would I say to myself? What would be my pep talk? And I come up with a couple things. One is, I love to move. I actually love it. I love to move my body. I'm going to remind myself to be better than I was yesterday. Just be better than you were yesterday. I've already proven for the past 2 weeks that I can. And when it's getting hard, I can bask in that feeling. I was thinking about last week, some of the toward the end of the week, I was feeling like the meal planning and all that was feeling a little tedious. And so to fight that, I said, I'd written down here, the limits are just the edges of the sandbox, but within the sandbox is the freedom to create what we want for ourselves. So it's, the limits are there for a reason. And every day that I do it, I think like every day I'm able to say I did it. Just in terms of I am statements, I am strong, I am healthy, I am smart, I am capable, I am energetic, I am focused, I am happy, and I am in control of my actions. And achieving this goal is only the beginning.
You guys fill up my hope tank. You guys have been amazing. So when I started this journey with you guys, something in my heart just knew this was my time. This was it. I literally mapped out every day. I made a chart. And I crossed off, like, I have 77 days left to go. I put on here, I eat according to my goals. This is my time. I am excited. And on my other paper, years ago when I was kissing 300 pounds, I swore to myself, if I could ever find a way to lose 100 pounds, if I could ever just do that, I would go all the way. And so I eventually got the 100 pounds and then just kind of leveled off. And I've been fighting it ever since. But now what I put down is I love being healthy and fit. I love losing weight. I am worth it. I love myself and I will fulfill my promise to myself. I eat according to my goals. If the scale isn't moving, I just tell myself my brain has to outlast the number on the scale. And if I stay true to what I know I'm supposed to do, everything else will catch up and it's going to be okay. And if none of that works, then I call you guys.
We've been talking, what are we going to do when things get tough? And in full transparency and honesty, every day of this has been tough. 2 weeks, I've lost 18 pounds and I've worked out 14 straight days. And I've cooked food, I've made food, I've eaten food. I've made mistakes. I've learned from mistakes. There's nothing easy about this. So what's interesting is I shared with the group yesterday something that Carmen shared about falling in love with the process and the activity. And I do love the process. I love the ability to work out every day. I love the ability to make choices. And so, I wrote down something that I shared actually today. It's interesting that we had this conversation today because I posted it on my Facebook wall. It was kind of what I wrote in the beginning to get me through every day. I haven't had an easy day yet. I wish I could say that. I've had days where I feel good, but none of it has been easy so far. So I don't know. I say this to myself all the time. In 6 months, this is what I wrote. 6 months, you'll either have 6 months of excuses or you'll have 6 months of progress. The choice is yours. You make the decision. Every day, I make a decision. I make a choice. So is it hard? Is it easy? I haven't hit the easy phase yet. Hopefully it gets easier, but it's worth it. That's the key for me is, yeah, it's hard, but it's life-changing, and it's time, and it's due. And I love the folks in this group. I mean, everybody is there every day cheering each other on to do the best that they can do. And that's pretty special.
Yeah, that's great, Jerry. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. So there was something that Autumn had said in the workout that we do. She said that your struggles today will be your strengths of tomorrow. And so that's one of the things that I like to repeat in my mind. And that was just right on that. So very good. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm going to pass this back on to Aisha.
So guys, this has been an amazing session for us, learning and hearing about how you guys are going to give yourself positive self-talk. At this time, I'm going to open it up to season 4 and really have them give you some words of wisdom. Like, how do we make it through? Yeah, Jerry, every day has been hard. Absolutely. And actually some days are easier. Like, since I'm up, I'll just go ahead and kick it off. My words of advice is don't stop. Like, just that consistency really matters, because that consistency is really what's helping you build a stronger foundation. It's helping you be able to go into those situations where you normally would have failed, and you're able to be successful. And it absolutely is a muscle. The more times that you pass up on things that don't align with your goals, the easier it is to just walk away from it. All these situations are going to creep up, and they're going to try to misalign your goals. And so you have to take yourself back and say, yeah, I'm not. And sometimes you may have to leave the situation. The Bible says run from temptation. At times you may need to run and turn away if you know where it's going to lead you. So, Jen, I'm going to bring you back up since you're right next to me here.
Okay, great. So for my tip, I wanted to deal with some of the mindset issues that surround guilt and shame. So there is just a lot of that from my past that, all the way through growing up. When you start digging into that, you start to see where the roots of a lot of that came from. Guilt and shame keep you stuck where you came from. They will bring you back down to that. And, beating ourselves up and all of that, that's not going to get us anywhere. It just keeps us stuck. So there are a couple things that you can do about that. One of them, one thing to do is like Kim was talking about, is like, this is the old me, this is the new one. That was part of me before. It is no longer part of me now. Going forward, I will not accept that guilt and shame. And then another way to handle that too, from that point, is to change those thoughts to curiosity. So just start asking yourself questions. Why am I feeling this way? Well, because I didn't plan well. You know, I screwed up, I didn't plan well. Okay, why didn't I plan well? And start asking those kind of questions. And eventually you get to the point where you have a circumstance that you can change. It's a fact rather than all of this emotion that has no tangibility. So whenever you're dealing with a fact where you're saying, well, it wasn't my priority to make that a plan, that's when you can say, okay, so now what can I do about this? All I have to do is make it a priority tomorrow. How can I do that? Tonight I'll sit down and start planning my food out. I will address the situation that threw me into this place, and I'm going to change that. Set some boundaries, set some new habits up. What's going to happen if this happens again? And so that has been a big deal for me.
A couple weeks into season 4, I found out I was pregnant, which was a shock in and of itself. And then that was a whole mindset in the sense of I have never lost weight pregnant. And so there was that whole struggle, and eventually, unfortunately, I had a miscarriage. So, but I went through several weeks where I was in 9th and 10th place. The scale was not moving. I was doing all the right thing. I hated drinking the water. I complained about the water. I still struggle with the water because I was living in the bathroom. But it really became I kept telling myself, I know this will work, even though I don't believe it. I've been on many diets. I, was pregnant. Like, I had all the reasons thrown at me in the sense of like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep saying, like, when I was pregnant, my goal was not to gain a pound. That was all I could handle at that point. And then when I lost the baby, it was like, okay, I'm going to believe, even though I don't believe, and just keep speaking this and borrowing other people's belief in it. And if you just keep working it, it will move and it will change. And you'll notice changes that are non-scale victory. This past week, I got a shirt that I have not worn in 17 years. And I cried. I will be very honest with you. It was a shock. And I'm also burning the ship as I go along. I am not going back to the bigger sizes. I am getting them out of my closet, out of my life. And I refuse to go back to where I was.
My advice would be to realize this is a phase that you're going through. You are doing everything you can right now so that you get to that goal, so that you can learn about what the next steps are in the program. And Sarah talked about borrowing the faith of people. This has been the difference because I have been fluffy since birth. I never had a support system around me. I belonged to these plans that actually they did better if I failed because they would make more money. This has really been the first time that it's dealing not just with what goes in the pie hole, but what's right up here, and flipping that switch.
I think my biggest piece of advice would be, don't let the excuses take over. Don't make those justifications, because it's so easy for us to start justifying little things like, didn't get all my water in, got 3.5 quarts in, that's fine. Or, I took an extra bite of this or an extra bite of that. And it's really easy to make those justifications. And you're only hurting yourself, right? You're not hurting Carmen. You could lie. You could absolutely go in the Marco and be like, I'm doing everything exactly right, when you're not. But it's only hurting you. It's only hurting you. You can hide and eat whatever you want, but it's going to show up on the scale. So what we do in private shows up on the scale, and you've got to really want to do this for yourself, to really make these changes and make the decisions to stay on plan, making the decisions and being very, very intentional about drinking your water every day, eating all of your containers every day, doing your workout every single day. And when that gets tough, because it does, right? It does get tough. Just remember that you are in the focus phase, and one day we will all be in the freedom phase.
As you guys are going into season 3, into week 3, what's important here is to understand, like, where are you going with your vision? Where are you going with your vision? How are you going to get there? What are the tools in place that are really going to help you get to your vision? Are your words lining up with where you want to go? What you say to yourself every day, is it lining up with where you want to go, with where your goal weight is? And really the importance of understanding why your words matter. Take every thought captive. Take every thought captive and be deliberate with your words.